Well, hello everybody. Thanks for joining us today. We've got a few of us here. We're able to come together and look at our trait of the week this week, trait 34, which is about owning your own personal power. And before we get started, let's just say hello to our panelists. Let's start with you, Anna. How are you today? Welcome.
Welcome. I'm sort of flustered. Seems like a lot of people are. I'm good. I mean, it's just crazy. It is a good day to own your power. I just realized on the slide here, we're missing an N on owning. We can correct that.
Oh my goodness, that's great.
Owning your personal power too. That's kind of what the day's like. Anyway, welcome everyone.
Thanks, Anna. Thanks for pointing that out. I'll fix that. And Leanna, thanks for joining us from way down under. How are you doing today? Can you find your unmute button? There we go.
Oh my goodness. What is going on? Lordy. Talk about, I'm going to back on to what Anna said about flustered. That is happening everywhere. We've got the full moon in Saggy happening this week. I think it's tomorrow or the next day. Everything feels stirred up. So I second that.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's jump in and see how we can all own and owe our own personal power to help us get through this challenging time. So remembering that November is really all about an alertness to our own self-expression, allowing us to break through, to own our own power and focus. So this is what's been happening throughout the months. We started at the end of October with alertness and coming to meet. So being aware of what it takes for us to survive and thrive, and moving into creative self-expression, which is helped us really get rooted in our own unique direction with the one here. And then the breakthrough, the strength of this, the 43, the listening to your own insight and your own inner voice, and really listening to what it is you need to be able to own your own power. And then we moved to the 14, which was about having the fuel to empower ourselves, which possession in great measure. This is about the treasure and having the treasure and the energy and the power to be able to empower yourself. And this week we're looking at your own personal power. So how does this trait 34 come into play, which is the power of the great, this pure unconditional personal power? And next week we're going to move to the focus in the 9, which is the energy for looking at the real details. So we go from the power of the great to the power of the tiny, the small, and looking at how we have the energy for focusing on the details. So we can see that the 34 is grounded by the 20, which is interesting that we have this full strength in this time, in this week, especially, or for today anyways, with trait 1. It may stay around. I haven't looked ahead to see if that persists through the whole week. But that specific trait is, the ability to have our own personal charisma. We'll look at that in a few minutes. But first, I wanted to see if our panel has anything they want to add to, or just anything you notice other than what you've pointed out already, anything you've noticed about the 34 grounded in the 20, where we are right now.
Well, I'll start. Initiate.
Yes, thanks, Anna.
Just what Leanna said. It's a kind of a fiery time in the fall. So it's kind of a juxtaposition of things sort of falling away and yet energizing. And given the sort of the bustle, at least here in the States, it's time for a holiday, Thanksgiving holiday. People are traveling, seeing old friends or gathering, and this kind of, so there's a lot of energy moving. And I would say that's really what's going on, is that this is a really moving, active energy, and grounding it into the 20, which is I am, the now, the I am. And I just get the feeling in general, I met somebody in the parking lot today that I haven't seen in months. And, we were just sort of checking in with each other, and all this stuff had happened, and drama and blah. I was like, this is happening to everybody right now. Things are moving. I would say that they're just moving in kind of all different ways.
Yeah, wow. That's incredible. And you just made me realize too that this morning is only the second day that I've managed to get back to my workout routine that I had dropped back at the end of August. And when we got really busy, and yesterday was the first day I started to feel a little energy. Today's the first day I got up and actually went, I'm going to do this today. So it was great to see that my personal power was energized already first thing this morning to give me that boost to get going with that again. So thanks, Anna. That was wonderful. And Leanna, how about you? You mentioned already just the activity going on at your house. What else have you noticed? Oh, you're muted again. You can just stay unmuted if you want, Leanna.
I think I will.
Whenever.
Yeah, sorry, I will. I'm having problems.
No worries. It's okay.
100%, Anna's 100% on top of it. This, the movement. So things are moving. We're coming back off the 43 of breakthrough. And then from breakthrough, obviously, I feel it as we get the burst of the movement following the breakthrough, right? And then your personal power with the 34 is supporting the breakthrough to create or to move consciously. Because personal power is choice. Personal power involves awareness, choice. So, it makes sense that we're coming back off the 43. Like, there's always movement after breakthrough. But I would even say, even if our listeners, even if no one really felt the 43 super activated for them, and if it is not a defined trait for them, if they focus more on the 34 around the personal power and around whenever things change, we can feel like sometimes we're losing power if there's a change, if it's unexpected, and when everything's in flux. So, honing into the personal power as an anchor, what you can trust, your decision-making strategy, checking. I always, when things shift, I always check on my decision-making strategy. I always just check to see, like, I do a little review. What am I doing? Am I listening? Am I following? Am I thinking? Or am I, honoring my design? So I kind of do a little bit of a review. So it makes sense when there's change with the 34, as there is right now. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, beautiful. Thanks for spelling that out. I love your clear insight into things that you see moving in the way you've tied that all together. And it must feel different for you too, as an advisor, having this whole strength to find now having your energy resource connected. Are you personally feeling that extra energy as well?
Oh, yes. And I want to use it 100%. Everything is moving. And I'm personally grateful. Like, I think, because the movement right now is a little bit overwhelming too, right? Because things reveal themselves in your field, so things reveal. And if it's not for you, if the change isn't for you, it can be with someone around you. So things are revealing, people are in process. Things are activated, 100% activated, right? So I feel it as energy. And I do feel the 34 very strongly. I don't have it defined, but I can feel it because I feel like I've moved into my power, and I feel like I haven't been in that. So I'm not sure about you two, but that's how I've been feeling.
Yes.
One of the things I would add to that is segue from what you just said, Leanna, that there's a lot of things moving. Yeah, it might be stuff moving in somebody else's field around you. It might be yours. But the thing is, when there's that transition, it's easy to lose focus, where to direct that, where to choose that energy, where to apply that energy, because it is raw power.
Yeah, good point, Anna. Really good point. Well, let's jump in and take a closer look at what this is really all about then, because what you've both been talking about is this access to our own personal power. And for those of us who don't have it continually, this week is a really great time for us to tap into this and really feel what it feels like to have this pure unconditional power. And it's only great when it's displayed or its use serves the common good. It's the power of the great. So even though it's our own personal power, it's meant to be, as you were mentioning, Anna, focused on serving the common good. So as you were mentioning, it can be hard to know where to focus it all, especially if you don't have it consistently and it's coming in this week. Wow, what do I do with all this energy? Where should I focus it? It works best when it's serving others. The moment that power is identified with awareness, that's when it turns into deeds. So it's about becoming aware that you've got this power right now, and being able to use it for something that's helpful for those around you. It's part of the only pure express builder's strength. So this connection from the energy function to the throat, this power of charisma is pure express builder strength, which is being able to, in the moment, quickly direct your energy to something right here, right now. This power can be focused on social behaviors or roles that support your strong convictions. So the 3410, or the ability to act on your own behalf in order to manifest and thrive, which is the 20, connecting to the 20. And on your intuition, which is empowers you to survive perfectly in each moment. So being able to know exactly where you need to be in every moment in order to empower yourself. This is all individual circuitry, so it's all about empowerment, and it's about how the proper use of this energy to empower yourself to either support your strong convictions, to act on your own behalf, or to know how to survive in the moment. It's a relentless power to act, and it may become unhealthy or meddlesome or misdirected energy. So if you're not directing it towards something that serves beyond you, it's okay to use it for yourself too, but in doing something that serves others, that's when the energy can be most used correctly. But it can also be used in an unhealthy way and become misdirected. Though admired and even sought after, this energy is very personal. It's simply not available to others. It must remain pure in its power. So this particular strength, I don't have any of these myself, but I do have many, many family members that have one or more of these. So I've watched this play out in our family a lot. I've worked with some clients who have the 3457, and one of the biggest things I noticed for them was that when they aren't using this personal power in order to know how to survive in each moment, in other words, if they aren't taking care of themselves and burning off this energy that's meant only for them, they can't actually give this power away to anybody. They can direct it to others, but they also have this internal need to use it to keep themselves healthy. And so I know for the couple of clients I worked with who have this, who were having a really difficult time, they were feeling blah and awful and low energy, and then getting really testy or snappy at people when people came close, and it was like, back off and leave me alone. And it came across as very, very powerful energy force being directed at their family members. Mostly it was the challenge they were having, And they just didn't know what to do. They weren't trying to be directed at their family, but they didn't know what else to do. And when I suggested to them that they start their own exercise program so that they had a consistent way to take care of themselves, so that their own survival needs were being met, that their own time to themselves was being attended to. And that's made all the difference in the world for both of them to be able to be much calmer around their family and feel like their personal power is being used appropriately because it is for themselves. And it's like you can't pour water from an empty glass. If you're not fulfilled yourself and taking care of yourself first, you can't help anyone else around you. And I think that's a really big key piece for especially this 3457. And I know that's the one I've seen play out the most. So I wonder, Anna or Leanna, I don't think any of us have this, but Anna, do you have any of the other traits, or no?
I do have the 57. And that's very strong for me. My daughter has the 3420. And I've seen, and a whole bunch of people in my life also, have that. So I've seen it play out in kind of a variety of ways, but literally, I think this is so funny. And the way design works, my daughter's literally moving today. She's, lifting boxes and, putting things together and helping another person get out of their apartment. So she had a couple down days, and all of a sudden, snap, it was like some place to channel this energy for her own sense of well-being, but also to help another person. So I just think this stuff's fascinating. For me right now, I feel that the 57 is so natural, or I just feel it all the time. I kind of live there intuitively. So to have it charged with the power of 34, I have really noticed, like in my meditation this morning, it was easy to get all over the place. And I kept having to come back and ground down, really ground the energy of it. And then because I'm open in the energy resource. And then at a certain point, I really felt my belly physically, and everything sort of settled down and got clear. So that's one way that I recognize the 34 and the connection between 57 and 34.
Wow. Thanks, Anna. Yeah, I was just realizing as you were speaking, you're also open. So are feeling this, more than once with the 20 and the 57 connecting you, some extra intuitive knowing in the moment, and the strength of the channel of charisma as well. So that's really cool. And I love your example about your daughter and how this actually just, we don't realize how much we're being conditioned all the time by this background frequency, the thing that actually makes us decide, okay, it's time to go and help somebody move, or somewhere I need to channel my energy to, comes online right at the moment that, and with myself feeling it this morning, that, wow, I actually got up early. I got up an hour early, and that's really rare for me, as I just had this energy and wanted to get up and exercise. That never happens to me. So it was really great to feel it now. But anyways, Leanna, how about you?
Well, as an advisor, anytime I see personal power, like energy, like the energy in this one, the raw power / energy. I admire this one 100%. And I watch in awe, when I see people who have the 34 or have these, even the 14's another beautiful one to watch. But with this, the express builder strength, and energy. Like I really admire express builders in just how much they get done. And but what I love about this one, why I love the 34, is because it has its own innate wisdom, as they all do, but its own innate wisdom inbuilt around the proper use of this energy. Like I love this one, how it's so pure, and then how it needs to be used for the common good. It can't be used, maybe in a corrupt way. Like it's, I love it. It's for the common good. Like I admire this one.
Yes, well said. And I do as well, seeing people who've got this consistently.
I just snapped. I just realized I mentioned earlier, I met a friend in the parking lot that I haven't seen in months. He has the 3420. That is so interesting. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. It's just showing up everywhere.
Yeah.
And it looks like Rebecca has something to share with us. I'll just promote you to panelist. So there we go. Rebecca, have you got this 34? You have so much of this in your design.
I actually have the 10 and the 57. And
okay.
It's so funny because I woke up, I have felt inert for like a month, it feels like, not being able to do anything. And then yesterday, there was a shift. It was a tremendous amount of anxiety that got me moving, but it was like, okay, I just need to do this. And so yesterday was about taking care of money. Today, as soon as I woke up, it was about taking care of medical stuff. So like there's something about, and I didn't realize it's also Sagittarian season, and I am a Sag, that there's something about like the end of the like the end of the year, kind of death, to remind us of mortality, to remind me of mortality. So it's kind of like, oh yeah, I guess I should go get an annual exam, and I guess I should take care of just do the stuff it always seems like wintertime's a good time to do it. So I did that this morning, but it's like all of a sudden, finally I have energy, and I'm going, oh good, 4 more days of this. I'm riding this. And then the other part, supporting your strong convictions, because I also, because that 10, I think that's love of humanity. Is that love of the body?
Love of self.
Yeah.
Self-love. It's about behavior, the ability to,
behavior of self.
Love of self, behavior of self. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I just kind of woke up going, it triggered all the other stuff because I have the cross of whatever it is, and it was like, oh yeah, love of humanity or not. And I'm like, okay, and that's what I find fascinating about all of this. Everything is or not, and not just today, but that's what I love about BG5 is like this or not. And it's not consistent. It doesn't have to, it's just because I can operate in a healthy way one day doesn't mean I'm not going to go back to unhealthy ways, but having the awareness is like, oh yeah, to recognize the different aspects.
Yeah. And recognize what's happening when it's happening, and that this is happening all around us all the time, whether it's in the background frequency or whether it's when we're connecting with others. We really start to realize just how much each of us as individuals are affected by each other and by small groups, large groups of us, and also just what's happening in the background. Just the fact that we can see how this 34 is already impacting each of us in very specific ways in how to use this consistent personal power for at least the next week. So,
there's another part I'd like to add here in the last paragraph here about this energy isn't available to others. I've noticed, especially with my daughter, but also in people near me, this energy is not available to others, but other people feel it, they sense it, they want it. it's not something they can give away. It's not for other people, but it can be channeled, like we mentioned already, for a common good. So there's this draw, and that's the charisma part. There's this draw to people with the 34. And I've noticed sometimes people are mad or get frustrated that this can't be offered, this can't be given away. It's purely for that individual, yet they can use it for the 34, the person with 34 can direct that energy towards something that the other needs, but it can't really be shared or spent by anybody else.
Yes.
And sometimes that can be confusing.
Yeah. Do you remember, Anna, I think it was last year or the year before, I just remember this now, so thank you. The 34, someone shared on the live that the 34 was like an elixir in a necklace on someone who has it. And everyone comes over and goes, oh, what's that? I want that. Can I have that? And the elixir is only for the wearer. It's in there for the wearer, or the gem is for the wearer. I can't remember if it was a gem or an elixir, but it was a necklace. So the 34 was like a necklace that caught people's attention, even if they didn't have words for it, caught their interest. They wanted one. So they wanted to take the necklace and put it on themselves, but they couldn't.
Yeah.
So it was, so for me, when I look at BG5, I love the relational. So I go, okay, so how can I befriend that person in a win-win way? Like, let me figure out who's got it, then let me approach them and then tell them about their necklace and tell them about how it's meant to be used, and then see if I activate them and if maybe they want to come back over to me and invite me to join them in some way. But yes, it was like, I remember that. Do you remember that, Anna? It was like a necklace. I think this was like a year ago.
I don't remember that, but what you're saying makes perfect sense, because it is a certain kind of chemistry that they exude, but it's not something they can I've even watched my daughter try so hard. It just won't happen. It just is not available to anybody but them. And if that's not understood, if that's not given permission, that's just how it is. And if she uses it correctly, and these two other people that are in my life, if they use it correctly, there's not this dilemma. But if they don't understand it, it does create more dilemma. Like you say, they want it, they start getting hungry, and then all kinds of things can happen. But if you're using your decision-making strategy correctly, and you're tuning in, yes, no, that sacral response, then the person with the 34 can use their power for something the other wants, but they can't give it to anybody.
Yeah.
Selective.
Yes. Well, and it
By
has
nature.
to work for the person with the energy to give too.
100%.
If it's not in alignment with them, it's not going to work either.
But
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And I was just, reflecting back that making sure that the person who's got this is keeping themselves healthy in their healthy use of this energy, in order to keep themselves healthy, especially if they have the 57. That's when the energy can be more easily directed, because they're more tuned in and more balanced themselves. Otherwise, there are several traits to this that can come across as way too overpowering as well. To be careful not overpowering people with this trait. I know, like the 34-1, this is today's quality, is the bully, and it can be seen as energy that can be I think that's what we're really alluding to here, the relentless power that can become an unhealthy, misdirected energy. So it's just something to pay attention to, that the proper use of the energy is really key here. And it does come down to exactly what you've talked about, making sure you're following your decision-making strategy. And, sometimes people need someone to stand up for them, and they need somebody who's got this strength and can stand up for them. And that's a good use of the bully energy, is someone else is being picked on. Well, I can use my energy for the common good to help this other person who is being, mishandled or misused. And, that can be, so it's a fine line in using this energy. I think there's a lot to this. It's very deep. And I want to go to Lori, because she's had her hand up for a while. And so, Lori, do you have this 34?
I don't have the 34. I think there I am. I have the 10, and but we're being conditioned. I was going to say that I'm going to join everyone else and say I woke up this morning early with lots of energy, and I had several writing projects that I've been trying to work on for weeks, maybe months, and within a few hours they were done. But I wanted to share that I have a friend who's got the 3410, the 3420, the 3457.
Whoa.
Yeah, he just happened. He knows that I'm in this show right now, doing this with you right now, and he's just called in anyway, but I just missed it. Anyway, he said he feels like a nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
He's got so much energy. When I first met him, I tried to keep up, and I really couldn't. He's an express builder. I'm just a regular classic builder. I really couldn't do it. And so I felt really bad, because I'd say, I'm so sorry, I can't do that with you, because I'd have to recover from whatever the previous manifestation was. And I thought he would feel badly. And he just went on his merry way and kept doing it anyway, manifesting just as much by himself. And he actually felt badly that I wasn't having the opportunity to manifest, which as a class builder, I'm not here to necessarily manifest, but respond and grow and learn and all that. So I just thought it was an interesting juxtaposition, especially having all three connections. It's out there. And he has the 34.1, and he's always standing up for other people, and really a good person, trying to do always for the greater good. That I get the rest of us get to do this just this week.
Yes. Wow. Yeah, that's wonderful. And I am as well really inspired by and amazed by express builders, and how much they can get done in a really quick time, really short time. And I also really appreciate, as a classic builder, what it feels like to need to do things in a step-by-step manner, really taking one thing and getting it done sort of deeply. And, it feels slower, but it's as valuable as getting things done quickly. We need both. We always need both in everything we're doing. So
we've got some questions.
Ahead,
did you see those? Lorraine's asked, is the 34 projected channel? Is it a projected channel?
I have to think about
It's
that.
sacral.
Majority are sacral, so it might be I think it's a generator. I know it's definitely a generator or a builder channel.
Yeah.
But many of them are, I think the 20 is projected. Trying to remember my circuitry. Do you remember, Anna? I haven't got a quick guide to look up here. The majority of the circuits are projectors or advisor channels, advisor strengths. Most of them do need to be recognized. The 4 over on the right side of the throat are all initiator strengths or traits. But darn, I have to remember whether this is Anna's looking it up for us.
It's generated. The 34 is a generator.
Yeah, it's a builder. It's part of the decision-making strategy for the builder. So it's but I believe the 20. Oh no, the 20 is also the 35, the 12, and the 45 are all initiator. And the 20 is one of those that can be either advisor or in some cases initiator too. I have to look that one up. So I don't believe this needs invitation, especially because it's part of the sacral response. It's part of the builder's decision-making strategy. So be part of how they make decisions is, do I have the energy to give to this person or this cause? I like, Tanya, that you had shared that this 34, channel 34 energy can be channeled to causes like charity and projects. And yes, it can be generated or it can be directed to whatever the person who holds it feels is correct for them in their decision-making strategy. So it will be part of if someone, so they might show up in a couple different ways. They might see that there's somebody who needs help and they want to step in and give their energy towards that direction, like your daughter helping her friend move. That would come from her sacral response, though, of whether or not that's something she really wants to direct her energy to. So I think the really important piece about this 34 is that it's totally up to, and as are, any of the decision-making strategy for builders coming from the sacral response first. Of course, if we're going to be healthy in our lives and commit our energy to the correct things, we'll always be first paying attention to that sacral response and whether it's pulling us forward or not. But this 34 is particularly able to direct the energy a little more purposefully, or this is kind of like, I think of this as like a reserve tank of gas. Not everybody has a reserve tank in their vehicle. Some vehicles have 2 gas tanks. Not all of them do. Most of them only have 1. But people that have the 34 have like this reserve tank that's only for them, and they're the only one who can access it. It's got a lock and a key on it, and they're the only ones that can get into that. And it's up to them what they use that extra energy for and where they direct it to. So I don't know if that analogy helps explain that a little bit better or more clearly.
Yeah, and I would say it's if you choose the 34, the holder can choose to contribute your energy to something or to another or to a moment or to an experience with another. So you can contribute your energy, but you cannot give it. So you can't give the ownership to the other. So you can contribute. So it's like it's collaborative. In that moment, you're bringing it to collaborate with an organization, with a person, with the moving. You're in that collaboration. If that makes sense, it's contributing. That's how I see it. You're just choosing to contribute,
right?
Or not.
And something else that you just clicked for me, Leanna, is that unlike the rest of the builder energy, where it's easy for us to just say yes to everything, to give our energy away, it's like this particular trait, we can't give it away. We cannot be enslaved by this particular strength or trait of energy. The rest we can, but this one is off limits to anybody but us. And it's challenging to understand and grapple with it when I don't have it myself. Does anybody here have the 34?
One more comment. There's this sense of relentless power, was mentioned about the sort of the nuclear reactor.
Right. Yes.
It is literally generating power all the time. But for the person that has the 34, they also need to know when to stop, when enough is enough, when it's time to be done, because otherwise this can run them. And you want to keep tuning in to what your belly says. Maybe, hour after hour after hour, somebody can move boxes or contribute something or whatever. And then all of a sudden, end of the day, you're used up. It's time to rest. So I want to just add that, because this thing will keep churning. But it's healthy to know when to stop, when to listen and say, oh, okay, I'm done.
Reserve tank's gone. Yes. Awesome. Well, thanks, everyone. Let's have a look at how we get affected when you're connected. Several of you mentioned that you've got the other traits. So let's look to see, how that works for you as well. So do you ever feel that you lack personal power? Are you not sure how to use your energy properly or intuitively in the now? This is all in the now, individual empowerment traits. So the problem is you can lack energy behind your convictions, which is with the 10, or uncertain how to utilize your energy in the now, with the 20, or lacking empowerment in your intuitive knowing. The solution is you're designed to work with others that can provide that personal power to help you stand by your convictions, to activate your charisma or empower your intuitive knowing. So from that perspective, I know that each of you have mentioned already how much you've been feeling the energy resource connected for you today, but what is it normally like when that isn't connected? And Anna, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, being open in the energy resource and being an initiator. I am often moved to take action, but it's not regular. It's not consistent. I can only be moved in the moment. And with the 57, for me, I'll often get an intuition, and there's this like 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds, and then my body will go, oh, I'm moved. There's this little bit of no energy to move yet. And then all of a sudden I'll get the energy to make a move or say something or whatever, initiate. But believe it or not, a lot of people don't know this, but to initiate is a lot of work. It's a lot of energy. And when you when you do it over and over and over in a day, it's depending on how well you do it, how well you understand it, how well you move with it, it can be, you can get tired. You can, you just end up with no energy at certain points. So that's where I noticed, that's where I've mused on this, kind of experimented with this, is lacking power to go, and having to learn when my signals tell me to move, and when I don't get that signal, it's not time to move energy.
Wow. That's amazing. Just because that's literally what initiators are designed to do, is to move things, to start things, to get things going. And I don't think I ever really had an appreciation for how much energy that might take, especially when you don't have a consistent energy resource at your disposal. So that's really fascinating. Thanks, Anna, for explaining that. How about for you, Leanna?
Yeah, I love that. I love hearing about that. I guess for myself as an advisor, I can speak from that place. The problem of lacking energy behind a conviction and uncertain how to utilize my energy in the now. That's when I'm in a waiting period. Like the trances just blow my mind because of the way they activate us. So I'll be in a waiting period because I'm not sparked. So it's a spark for me. So I'm not sparked, so I'll wait. And then I just wait and watch and listen. And the field will spark me. So the field sparks advisors, not just people, but the field itself will spark us. So there is a waiting, obviously, for this, waiting for the spark, waiting for the invitation, but it's the invitation that sparks us. So it's waiting for the invitation that sparks us. And invitations can occur within us as well. Like it's a fascinating dance. it's an invitation to follow this interest, an invitation to self. It's an inspiration. It's a spark. It feels inspired for me. It's inspired. So it's a spark. I have not been feeling it, and I'm going to make a note of this time of year. Every year I say this, we should make a BG5 calendar. We should make a BG5 calendar where it goes breakthrough, personal power, because we should make a calendar. Yep. Because just a quick flick to it, because then we can look ahead and go, oh, thank God I've got breakthrough happening on it. Because, I feel so good since the 34. I feel so good. Like I'm so happy.
That's a great idea, Leanna. I think you've inspired us all with that one. Now we'll have to get to work on that next. Lori, you've got the 10, did you say?
Yes. And I definitely feel inspired by people with 34. It's very energizing. I just have to balance with it because it can be too much. And I've had experiences with people with the 34 hiking, and I literally feel them stepping on the back of my heels to make me go faster. And it's just, I can do it, because their energy it's contagious a little bit, but I'm not getting their energy. So I can burn out faster, I think, than they will.
Thanks. You just reminded me too, that in my family, out of 7 people, my father was an advisor, but we had 3 express builders and 3 classic builders. And I constantly felt what you're talking about from my mom and older siblings, as they were the express builders, and they were always walking faster, going faster, moving faster. Come on, hurry up. You're going too slow. And I literally learned how to run to keep up with them, because they're all 6 feet taller than me as well, really long legs. But just that energy of, and even when don't even look like they're going very fast, they're just going that much faster than someone who's designed as a classic builder, to really take things slow and take your time with them, and to really sink into the moment and not be moved until you're finished, almost completed the step you're on. This is the way it works for me. I can sense I'm getting close to the end of the step I'm on, and all of a sudden the next step appears to me. And I really literally don't know what that next step is until I'm getting near to the end of the one I'm on. So being rushed through that process by someone with the strength of the 3420 of an express builder, where they're meant to skip all those steps and jump, over my head from here to way over there. It's like, okay, just wait, I'll get there. And so just even understanding the difference between the 2 energy types of the builders is in itself a really great example to see how this energy of the sacral can be used in different ways. And we've been exploring that today with all of the examples we've had. Thank you all so much for your insights. And
I would just say that I have the same experience, that I find there's a certain joy in doing each step. And for me, it seems necessary to do each step, even though for the express builder, it's not. And when I try to keep up with them, it's very disorganizing and almost counterproductive.
Isn't it though? It's like disorienting. It's very disorienting for me as well. It's like, whoa, wait a second. I can't actually.
All the plates in the air.
Yeah, exactly. I can see what you're doing and you go ahead. But yes, just even giving ourselves permission to be okay that we don't have to run that fast. In fact, I love what you said. It's deeply fulfilling to me to be able to take my time to go through each step and to do it until it feels like that step's complete, and then move on. And like I said, both energies are necessary. There's times when we need to get stuff up and running quickly, and you need the power of a express builder to do that for you. It's like, okay, this needs to get done right now. This is urgent. And to then also have the classic builder be able to actually dig in and take a little more time and do something a little more thoroughly, and have that sort of deeper, more fulfilling tone or sense to it. And I'm sure for the express builders, it's more satisfying for them to go quickly. They literally are holding them back if you're trying to make them go step by step. That's painful and excruciating for them as it is disorienting for us to try to go too fast. So I love that we're talking about this, the energy resource in that way today.
I have an example of that. What I have when I'm with an express builder, that I'll be thinking about what to make for dinner and they already have dinner on the table.
Yeah.
I'm the one that cleans up.
Right. It's so funny. We need all of it. So wonderful. Thanks everybody for all your great comments and stories and examples. And while you're kind of thinking about what we can pay attention to in this coming week, so we've got a whole other 5 days at least with this energy here. For any of you who are just watching this and aren't aware of everything we've got, you can visit our website at BG5businessinstitute.com, where you can sign up for the theme of the day. And this will deliver to your inbox the details of what's happening in the background frequency as the transits move through. And I also wanted to let you know you can get a free short report, or our full reports, our complete reports are on sale right now with this coupon, just for a limited time. So if you're wanting to get more details of your full design, this report has a lot of information in it. It's almost overwhelming to try to take it all in, but it's really great to have, and it's great to sit down with somebody to go through it with you. Someone, a trained consultant, can help you make sense of that. You can also watch our past episodes in our free resource library. We try to get these up here. I think we're a little behind and maybe need to work on that next week. And we've got our courses starting in January. So if you want to learn more about your own design and start to understand how all this information comes together, the foundation course is a great place to start. We've got that starting in January. And our certification course, if you've already done the foundation and are ready to consider maybe becoming a certified consultant, we've got a few people teaching that starting in January as well. So just check out our website and you can find these here or in the top menu. And thank you all for joining us today. And I'd love to ask our panel then to give us some words of wisdom for what to pay attention to in this next week.
I'm happy to go. I've got that one in my mind.
Awesome.
If that's all right. Yay.
Yes, go ahead.
So personal power, right? So obviously personal
yes.
power is going to show us, and especially because it's an express builder strength, where express builders can have a hard time not completing something because obviously they're driven to completing something. So personal power makes sense for me with this circuitry, that permission to look at where we're giving our power away. So where it goes from being self-ownership of the power to suddenly, ooh, I'm being drained of power. So, that as an indication of a possible choice point or a possible pivot, because you can't talk about personal power without talking about giving it away, and that makes sense for me. All my clients, all my express builder clients, they can struggle with feeling like they're letting someone down if they change or shift or pivot when they know that they need to. So they know that they need to, it just is hard for them to actually, they don't want to let anyone down. So, but yet they're losing their power if they don't do the pivot or express the need to shift something. So looking for that for all of us, that's what I'm looking at, is where I'm giving my power away and where it's almost like a leak. You can feel that you've got a power leakage. And I want all of us to make the best use of this energy while we have it. So let's plug those leaks.
Wonderful. Thanks, Leanna. And I guess following our decision-making strategy would be the best way to plug those leaks, is to really, even if you feel like you are letting others down, that's actually the way to set boundaries. Setting boundaries for yourself is not about taking something away from others. It's about taking good care of yourself so that you have clean, pure energy that is expressing purposefully to give to others, so that your energy is pure and vibrant. We talk about it as either being sort of in resonance or static. If you're giving your power away, giving your energy away, that can sound like static to other people. It can be raw static energy that's maybe electrical. And we talked about the what was the words you used, Anna? The electrical storm, or the just too much energy going. So using your decision making helps you set a clean, healthy boundary, so that when you do give your energy away, you're giving it to people with clear resonance and in harmony, and it's going to be a stronger best use of an easy flowing energy as opposed to static. So thanks, Leanna.
That's a beautiful summary. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thanks. You too.
And my summary would be, I think of the energy resource as sort of battery power. And you can, just to segue on what you both just said, you can see, like on your phone, you can check your battery power level. Mm. And that's what your decision-making strategy does. You can check in to your battery level, because correct use of power, especially for the builder, it's really important to be able to say no and feel okay about that. If it's a no, it's a no, it's fine. And that can be your contribution to others, is to stay clean, stay out of static. Because if you're overriding the messages from your belly, the yes or no, then that's what creates the static. So I would sort of recommend check into your battery power. Power is your life force. Empowerment is about how you use that battery. So that's where I would go with it today. Just experiment.
Beautiful, Anna. I love that analogy. It's beautiful. The battery pack. Yes. Thank you so much. So appreciate your wisdom. And Rebecca.
I would say ride the wave and enjoy.
Yes, make best use. Thanks for being here, Rebecca. And Lori, I always love to hear your wisdom too.
Well, thank you. I would echo what Anna said about check your battery levels and decide what you're going to focus your power on, because it's available this week, and we can get a lot done if we have a clear vision and we're responding to our own inner authority. So that's where I would as well.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today and exploring this Trait 34. And we look forward to seeing you all next week. Thanks, and bye for now.
Bye-bye. Thank you all.